Greetings, everybody. So, where are we now? We started with 1, went to 3, 5, 8, 13, and we jumped to 60. We have enough people so they can create their own structure and they can have their own opinions, enough interactions to start to be different from one another. We are still a tribe, still supposed to be the same, but difference has emerged from within. We have not introduced war, and when difference comes from the outside, now we're going to focus on social contracts and how we can articulate power and difference. At this stage, we still have a chief, and our chief is the only source of authority. He decides what we're going to do, and this is how it is for now. Let's see what's going to happen next. So now, where are we? I said that a social contract is a set of agreements that allow a community to function, to work together, any kind of group, any kind of community. Generally, it's a way of dispatching rights and obligation and safety and freedom. I mean, 2 by 2. So rights and obligation, that's one axis, and freedom and safety, it's another axis. When you basically give your personal power away to a leader or to a government or whatever, it's in exchange for more freedom or more safety, or generally some mix of both. Okay, so in the proprietary system that we are in, we have a social contract that says that you don't steal from people who have. So people who have, they don't have to fear you. And we have another bit of that social contract that says that if you do what the system tells you to do, you can get higher up in the food chain and become a rich person yourself as well. So we can debate if it's true or not, whatever. This is just meant to keep privileges and privileged people where they are. So I'm not going to be socialist too much here, but yeah, this is what it is. So you have 2 rules that are at the beginning of that social contract that we know now. And that's what we're going to investigate now. So I said 2 rules, but actually it's 2 rules for the inner game and 2 rules for the outer game. For the inner game, it's going to be about articulating fairness. When you come with a set of rules to allow people to live together and you have a leader or you have a government or anything, you need to articulate or at least pretend that you're articulating fairness. Okay, so it goes with the thing that I said earlier, is like, if you play by the rules, then you can stand a chance of getting higher in the food chain. The second one is you have to allow progress. Allow progress is a very, very difficult one to understand. And I'm already spoiling that, because basically all those civilizations that have succeeded, like survived and thrived, had an inner game in which they could allow progress without creating more conflict than progress. So it means that if you have a tribe leader who's too strong in his way of leading, and he doesn't want to change everything because he wants to keep the power within hands and everything, and there is some progress, and he does not allow progress, at some point, it's unavoidable. He will have, or she will have, a riot. If he does not consult people, or if he does not let the wheel happen to hold chariots and everything, then he's going to have people questioning his authority, and at some point we're going to have some civil war and everything. It's not going to work. So civilizations that are working, they allow progress. That was the inner game. When it comes to the outer game, because we are now a tribe of 60. When it comes to encountering another tribe, movers or settlers, whatever, doesn't change anything. When it comes to encountering them, we have two other possibilities. A simplification of the 4 reptilian decisions that we could have. So here we are in the fight or flight. You meet another tribe. First thing is like you're going to assess, are they superior to us? Are they equal, or are they below us? Okay. And then you're going to assess the next thing. What are we going to go for? Are we going to go for the strongest has the right to rule? So law of the strongest, I think it's called in English. Or the first one who was there can stay there. The rule of first occupant that we say in my language, I'm not sure about that in English, but like means that you were there before by that water stream, so I'm going to leave you in peace because you were there before. So this is how we're going to decide how we're going to engage. Okay, I just leave that one sleeping for now because I'm interested in inner regulation, not in outside regulation. We're going to come to that at some point. It's going to be unavoidable anyways, because we're going to grow, they're going to grow, and at some point our growth will create boundaries because we will have to touch. So we will have to decide how to interact because we're going to just be bigger, you know. So even if we are peaceful and everything, at some point my growth is going to meet the other civilization's growth. So what do we have now? We have an understanding of how we can articulate things, and we know that the next phase is that we are gonna grow, and our neighbors, without us knowing, or with us knowing, they are gonna grow as well. With that, what's gonna happen is another thing, like we have now become settlers. And it's very, very important to understand that then we're going to redefine our social structure. Just because we do not answer our primary questions the same way. We come from being nomads. We had to hunt meat. We said that we didn't have to fight the weather, okay? We didn't have to find shelters, okay? But at some point we still want that. And we want to have families and everything, offspring. So at some point we're just gonna settle. And we don't settle because we're lazy. We settle because at some point, after moving up north, south, east, west, we realize that we've been here last season, and those trees, they were not that big. Now they are that big. And some smarter guys will understand that basically there is some thing to understand about nature, and that we can command trees and crops to grow a certain way. And by extension, at some point, we're going to understand that we can command beasts to reproduce. So we are now at the stage where we decide to settle. And we settle because we can master and rule our environment to a certain level. So let's say we decided that we would go up north. There is that tribe living there by the river. We decide to be friendly. We let them be. We go south. We have a weaker tribe. We can decide if we're assholes and we turn them into slaves, or if we just let them be, or if we absorb them or whatever. But we decide to settle there, right in the middle of our imaginary map. We settle there, and what's happening is the chief is ruling the way he's been ruling. But at the same time, other people, they get creative and they start to understand what to do with crop. And some other guy is like, we need to move those things. So maybe we can, I don't know, like invent a chariot or whatever, you know? So what's happening silently is that progress is happening. And with progress happening, the power is shifting. Maybe the chief is seeing it coming. Maybe he's not seeing it coming. But what's happening is that basically at some point, the alpha players are not going to be hunters anymore. They are going to be guys who can provide without having to fight and who can provide for many, many, many. So with that, the civilization will either fight itself or it will let it happen. But what's going to happen is that at some point, you'll have more people realizing that it's better to give authority to the smart guy who can provide food for everybody than giving authority to the guy who can punch them in the face. Because at some point, that guy plus his team is between 3 and 8 out of a village of 60, where at least 40 could be primed into a mutiny and therefore overpower the leader. So at some point, there is a power shift. It can be subtle or it can be kind of violent, but the number one of the team is not the head hunter anymore. So let's say that that head hunter decides that he would live with his 8 best warriors and he would let the tribe being the tribe. And so he's out of the equation. They are out of the equation. So do you want to know what's going to happen next? I hope you do. Thanks already for bearing with me until now. Next episode is going to be about the first enclosure, and with it, the first society organization.